would turn home and help Far with the day's hunt. The thought of Far hunting alone twisted within my stomach, tightening the knot of worry. He would need me. Hunting was my skill, not his. I looked over the sea of muted colours, clothing of muddy greys and faded greens, another reminder of home. Horith was not a town built on riches, but one driven by the need to work to survive. I couldn't help but think of how we would stand out in the capital. If the guards' uniforms were anything to go by, the fashion in Odarim was much different. Leading the wagon on armoured elks sat the 2 royal guards, who'd not uttered a word since we departed, only staring ahead, refusing to enter conversation with the many attempting to ask questions. I didn't blame their silence. They were both clothed in the grand uniform of the King's Royal Legion, a vast difference to what we wore. A deep, violet leather undershirt lay beneath scaled, rose-gold chainmail. Their long, sandy hair hung loose and tumbled behind them, woven with plaits and braids. Horned helms covered their heads, 2 slits on either side to allow their ears to roam free without the constraints of metal. It was common practice by all elves to have our ears on display, wearing them like badges of honor. But it was not the only reason they stood free. I'd seen them twitch every so often, shifting as they followed far-off noises, searching for possible threats beyond the skyline. I wondered if the reason they seemed so tense had anything to do with the recent rumors of ransacked villages and towns. Although that was all they were, rumors. Nothing had been confirmed. I was certain it was only gossip, nothing more than mutated whispers passed from neighboring villages. I'd seen no proof of these remarks, nor believed them possible. I ran a hand over the shaved sides of my head, feeling the coarse hair brush underneath my fingers, a style much different from the guards. My bun had been thrown together moments before I left. Mam had created a single braid that ran along the top of my head and collected in the bun, her own attempts at making me look presentable for the evening's festivities. She'd believed the braid would bring me luck, so, to appease her, I sat without complaint as she yanked and pulled to finish it. If it made her feel better about me leaving, I was happy to oblige. During the long days of labor all year round, it made sense to have a shorter style of hair, but as I watched the guards ride ahead, I knew their style was for show. There was no reason for the elegant style. Then again, it's not like we were in war. The guards were nothing more than puppets for the king. The evening breeze blew across the wagon, bringing the night's slight chill with it. I pulled my hands into my long sleeves, concealing them from the crisp bite. If I'd known the journey would have lasted into the night, I would have brought a jacket. I added the chill to the ever-growing list of complaints I had sorted in my mind. The shorter of the 2 guards carried a flag at the top of a pole. It made frantic sounds as the night wind blew at it. The king's emblem had been embroidered onto the material. I traced the same symbol on my knee with my fingernail, the symbol of the Nerean elves. A knot of roots that looped around a tree in a circular motion. The same symbol carved into the guards' shoulder plates and the signs we passed on our way to Odarim, King Dalior's mark. The wagon bumped over a ditch, and I shuddered at the vibration it caused to run up my spine. The bows on the guards' plated backs bounced with momentum, making a high-pitched clacking noise, wood against metal. The bows were unlike any I had seen, vastly different from the flimsy yew-wood bows I used back home. The thick wood was embellished with designs of vines and leaves, painted in gold and silver hues. I could only imagine the power the bows held. The taut strings and the sturdiness of the frame looked unbreakable. I'd kill double the prey with it. If only. I lost myself in thoughts of hunting, my eyes fixed to the guards' bows. It wasn't until I heard a familiar voice that distracted me from my own imagination. I've heard the prince...